Good evening. Welcome in to the If You Don't Like That Studios. Ryan and Sacktown here. Quick turnaround. Kings fresh off a 7-game road trip, one of the longest of the season, but by far the most successful, tied for the most wins in franchise history on a road trip in 5, going 5-2 on that trip. They return home tonight against the Detroit Pistons, one of the worst teams in the NBA. We'll talk about why we think this team may give the Kings a little bit of fits tonight, why we don't exactly agree with the spread. That is the line on the game as of this minute. And we talk about the trade deadline. Tomorrow is the trade deadline, Kings fans. So will the Kings make any moves? All that and more coming up. We've got you covered all night from start to finish here on If You Don't Like That. I'm Ryan in Sacktown. We get you started here on the Kings pregame show on If You Don't Like That.
3, 2, 1, go.
Sacramento miscue. Carter, stolen by Williams. And look at this. Oh, you don't like that. You don't like NBA basketball.
Fox, goodbye. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. The exclamation point from De'Aaron Fox. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
Boy, that's an ESPN highlight right there. Whoa. Carlson comes in. How about this? Holy moly, Jim Bob Bowley. That is a major league smush.
Hey, welcome back in. I'm Ryan in Sacktown. This is the Kings pregame show on If You Don't Like That. There we go. Kings-Pistons tonight from the G1C. Kings return home. 7 o'clock tip as normal in Sacramento. We talked about the spread at the top. 13.5 points are the Sacramento Kings favorites. The Kings are 13.5 point favorites tonight. What do you think about that? That is a big spread. I don't care if that's the first game back after a road trip or the first game back after the All-Star break. That's a little bit too much. We know Sabonis. He has been absolutely dominating this Pistons team in this last 7-game stretch for this Kings team. Domas Sabonis, what can you say about him? Not an all-star, but probably would be the MVP of the league if you put the 3 names in the hat or the 2 names in the hat that made the all-star team above him and Sabonis. I bet you Sabonis' name would be getting called a lot there. Pistons, not a very good team. We know this, 6 wins on the season. They are playing a little bit better basketball as of late, which isn't a great sign for your Kings. But the one thing that I will say about Detroit, they don't do much well. Very bad at taking care of the basketball. Very, very bad at defense. Very bad offensively, as we saw in those numbers, 23rd and 27th, respectively, for Detroit there in the NBA. But they do handle the pace well. They are 7th in pace. So how could that play into things tonight with the Sacramento Kings? Could that possibly be an advantage for Detroit coming off of this road trip that the Kings are coming off of? Can they get their legs under them? We shall see as they get ready to tip off here in a little bit. We get to your comments. And don't forget, by the way, Jerry Reynolds right here at halftime. Grant will be here as well. And then Grant and I will wrap up the night for you tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to have some special programming for the trade deadline. I'm going to come on about 11 o'clock. And we're going to do the trade deadline live with you on If You Don't Like That, regardless of whether or not the Kings make a move. We'll see how that affects the NBA, how that affects the Kings with what other teams do. Who knows? Maybe the Kings do something. You see that QR code right there above me. Take a picture of that if you want to join the show. We're taking calls. Happy to take those. And then also get your chats in here. We will get those going. We get to Guerrero right off the bat. Kings cannot take the Pistons lightly. Saw Pistons upset the Thunder not too long ago. The Pistons, they're a young team. Ivy has been playing much better basketball as of late for them, as you would expect as the season goes along. He's going to get a little bit better, but again, still the Detroit Pistons and a team that they've given Sacramento, remember, they jumped out on the Kings in the game in Detroit, and that was a rested Sacramento Kings team for the most part. The Kings ultimately came back around. The one thing for the Pistons tonight that they have not had an answer for yet this season, or really since he has come to Sacramento, that's Domas Sabonis. Last game against the Pistons, absolutely gouged them inside, 14 of 16 inside. He's doing what he's doing. They don't have an answer for him. Can the Kings really focus on that tonight? Can they come out and try to exploit every opportunity offensively without taking or focusing on the three ball? All too often in games like this, we see the Kings come out, focus on the three ball too much, and before you know it, you've got a Detroit Pistons team or a Charlotte Hornets team or a team that Sacramento should not be losing to, but they are, and the three ball's already not falling. So how are they going to catch up? So I'd like to see them do some more of those things. Harrison Barnes certainly has been a difference maker for this team over the last 7 games. We can go over those stats as well. Nurko, what's up, man? Welcome to the show, to all my Kings family. I hope you guys have a good night and get this dub. Appreciate that, Nurko. We are hoping that the Kings get this dub and that beam is lit tonight, but it's going to be a difficult task for the Kings, much harder than the spread would suggest. Again, 13.5 point spread tonight. Kings favored by 13.5 points. Cade Cunningham, is he available? He was questionable. I will double check, Guerrero. As far as I have heard, I think he is still up in the air. Double check on that, though. Good question. If you guys know, throw that in the chat. Let's see. Visited the Cavs the last game. Really? Okay. Cool. Awesome. How was the atmosphere? The Cavs shot the heck out of the basketball that game, as we know. But you know what? That was a game, to me, that's a game the Kings, were there things the Kings could have done better? Certainly. Kings could have been better in that game. But the Cavs, when they shoot 20 percentage points above their average from beyond the three-point line, a team that does not shoot the three ball well, it's going to be a long night. And it begs the question, because all too often this season, we've seen this Kings team give teams that don't shoot the ball well, give them wide open looks and make them remember, hey, I'm an NBA player. I remember how to shoot this thing that's in my hands. And before you know it, you have a night like the Cavs had the other night. So can the Kings cure that? It starts with dribble penetration. That starts with the guys out on the wings. Guards need to be better there. Carf weighing in on the spread. Yes, it is. It's a big spread, but doable. Kings have the weapons. If the Kings make the free throws, I can see the Kings winning big. Certainly, Carf, I could see them winning big too. There's no doubt. I think Vegas, and they're the experts here, they see them winning big as well. But free throws, let's talk about that. De'Aaron Fox was the only starter to take a free throw last game. The only starter. I forget who. I think it was Condog 209 on the post-game show. And again, we're taking your guys' calls all night, so make sure that if you want to chime in and come up with Grant, Jerry, and myself at any time, you are more than welcome to. You can hit that QR code. Also, at the top of the chat, I've posted the link there as well. But yeah, the Kings have to get to the free throw line. They have not been getting to the free throw line lately, which is really troublesome. And then you also look at the percentage they're shooting from the free throw line. They're 6 percentage points lower this season than they were last year with pretty much the same guys. So you wonder how much of that is physical, how much is mental. Jerry and I both think that's mental. I think most pundits, most talking heads seem to have that same consensus, because it's guys that are not shooting the free throw or shooting the free throws poorly that have shot them well or have shown a propensity to shoot the ball well from the stripe. But then it comes to the whole thing of getting to the line. As I said, De'Aaron only starter to get to the line last game, but you have to get there more. You absolutely have to. And even if you don't make them, you got to get there. It slows the game down at points. There's opportunities for coaching. There's so many different things that happen when teams go to the free throw line. They make little adjustments. Plays are called. Decisions are made on the fly. When that's not happening, the game doesn't stop. And that's a problem sometimes for the Kings, especially when the Kings are missing jump shots. So, Ben, what's up, man? Welcome to the party. Pretty sure not a single starter took a free throw versus the Cavs. It was De'Aaron. Oh, you know what? You're right. You are absolutely right. Thank you. Thank you. Credit to Ben. 2 games ago, De'Aaron Fox, the only starter to take a free throw. This game, or last game, the Cavs, no starter took a free throw. Thank you for picking me up, Ben. Spot freaking on. So that makes that even worse, right? Because that's 2 games in a row. And when you look at the numbers and you look at what the Kings have done when they are playing winning basketball, that's the basketball that's 19 to 20 points better a night than their opponent. When they're playing that brand of basketball, they're getting to the free throw line. So that's going to be really important. Ben, I really appreciate you picking me up again. Ben, well done there, dude. Really appreciate that. Just giving you some wrong information. That's why I love you guys. You guys always spot check me. You always know what you're talking about. Guerrero chiming in. It's a good run, Guerrero. 16-1. I know, in the last 17 games. So the Clippers. Good point about the Clippers. So this is interesting. Grant talks so much about the Kings and the 7-game road trip and how that's not normal. You usually don't have 7-game road trips. Well, guess who just had a 7-game road trip? That's the LA Clippers. And you know what the LA Clippers did? The LA Clippers went 6-1. So they're playing great basketball. Grant and Jerry both think the Clippers are going to finish probably in the 1 seed in the West. I'm not sure I'm ready to make that jump yet, but I think that is a very real scenario that could happen. Organic work stat, like it. Every time the Kings scored, I used the air stick things they handed out. Yeah, those were for the free throws. You don't want to do that when they score. Well, I guess maybe you do. Basketball's a little bit different. So, anyways, hey, while I have you here, don't forget to go check out one of our favorite spots. Yeah, that's right. That's Bennett's West Side Grill. If you're wondering, that is their newest location, their 3rd location, located in the Blue Oaks Town Center in Rockland. You can also find Bennett's in Roseville, in off of Howe and Fair Oaks in Sacramento. You've heard us gush about the steaks, the seafood. I could come on and do 30 seconds on a different menu item every day. It really is that good. Never had a bad meal there. And by the way, the ambiance, the service, the specials. If you're a brunch person, $44. Bubbles and brunch on the weekends. Get you 2 entrees, bottle of champagne, and obviously your OJ or whatever other juice you choose to have. All $44 on the weekends. Go check them out. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com for more information, menus, more info on reservations, and also go check out gift cards. You can do gift cards online. So Bennett's, we absolutely love them. We appreciate all the support you guys have shown to Bennett's. So, yeah, thanks, dude. You're the man, Ben. Ben saved the day today. Guerrero hopping in. If you're James Harden, who normally chokes in the playoffs, this is your best chance since 18 or 19 for a chance of winning a title. Don't mess it up, Harden. Guerrero, here's what I wonder. I wonder if that team is peaking a little bit too early. That's the first thing I wonder. The second thing I wonder, and it's cliche, but can this team stay healthy? And I think it's a fair question because all of those guys have not played full workloads in the NBA in the past couple seasons. They have, for the most part, up until this point this year, But I don't know. Something tells me something could change. But the balance they have, the way they're doing it, and most importantly, it translates. The way they play as a team, the isolation, the way they take advantage of mismatches translates to the postseason. So watch the heck out for the Clippers. But enough about the Clippers. We got the Kings and the Pistons tonight. Nurko hopping back in. Preach, Chief. Considering Bennett's great restaurant compared to McDonald's $20 cheeseburger. Nurko, I was just having this conversation with somebody today. They said it was $19 for a Big Mac meal in Connecticut. $19. Get the heck out of here. What's up, BJ? BJ hopping in. How's it going? I'd like to see the Kings come out strong, mindset on consistent ball movement. I'm with you there. Team defense and to make mid-range and make free throws. Yeah, BJ, that's winning basketball right there. If they do all those things, if they do half those things, they're going to be in decent shape. The ball movement, the most important thing, because teams like Detroit, okay? Thing I worry about a team like Detroit coming into Sacramento is exactly that. The Kings, if they don't move the ball, Detroit, not good defensively. But if the Kings don't move the ball, the Kings are a very easy team to defend. Very easy. So that's why that's so big. Not only just for that, it gets everybody into the flow. That's basketball 101. But it also gets guys having to switch. Identify the switches that you want if you are Mike Brown and the coaching staff. So, Edward, the Cavs barely beat the Wiz today. These games are trap games, especially since the Kings are coming off a long road trip. Better be serious, Kings. Yeah. It's okay. So I'm going to pose it to you this way. Let's say the Kings come out tonight, lay an egg. The Kings come out, status quo, 18-point loss. Are you guys mad? Are you guys surprised? Or are you okay with it? Let me know. Patrick, what's up? Can you see Malik being moved at the deadline? No, I do not. There's no reason to, especially if you want to keep him. I think Malik is, as of right now, in this team's long-term plans. Everything that I have heard on the trade front has been incredibly silent. So when it comes to somebody like Malik, that would be a piece that you would include in one of the big trades, right? Like if you're going to, let's say LeBron James, right? He was available for a split second, according to one of the KCAL reporters. LeBron James, that would be a trade that you would look to do a Malik Monk in, and they would want a Malik Monk because of the expiring contract, number one. But also for the Kings, you're getting a much bigger piece, and that's a move you make basically saying, this is the year I'm winning the championship. But no, Patrick, Malik stays. Far too important to what this Kings team does. Lautos, first game back from a long road trip. Kings' tendency to play down to their opponent. All point to not an easy night. Nope. It does not, but at least, hey, be expecting it. Again, if the Kings, be very happy if the Kings pound the ball inside right off the bat. If everything is running through Domantas Sabonis, then the Kings are going to have a shot tonight. And it shouldn't be as bumpy as we are expecting. If they don't, then yes, that very well could be the case. BJ says, would not be surprised if the Kings lost tonight. No, I would not. And here's the other thing, too. De'Aaron Fox, I think that we've got to point this out. On the last seven game trip, De'Aaron's assists are down. And you might say, Ryan, well, Sabonis, his assists have been just stupid through the roof. But De'Aaron, he's got to have more than 2.3 assists a game, and that's what he's averaged over the last 7 games. Normally, he's a pinch above 5. per contest. So I want to see that get better tonight. I want to watch him carefully. Again, if you missed the post-game show last game against the Cavs, I gave my take. I'm not all that convinced that there's not still something nagging going on with that shoulder of De'Aaron Fox. So keep an eye on that. Appreciate it, Dave. Thank you so much. Not too bad yourself. I appreciate you always being here. Edward says he'd be upset, but from the Kings' history, it's almost a given they lose a game like this. Yeah, I was talking to somebody that's actually in Vegas, and they were surprised at the line tonight. And I said, hey, we all watch enough Kings basketball. I said, you want to take a bet? I would take Detroit money line tonight. That's what I would do. So just 13.5, far too much. Ed giving us a final score, 116-111. Yeah, there you go. That would take it. Why, after a long 7-game road trip, did the NBA only schedule 1 day off? Rough. Yeah, it is. Good question. It's part of every team goes through it. Unfortunately, the cross country aspect, that's what makes it tough, right? It's 1 day off after a 3-hour time difference. You've gone through a couple time zones. So, tonight I'm okay if I hear from the announcers, yeah, the Kings are tired. Yeah, that's fine. The Kings totally probably are tired. That makes complete sense. Hey, and by the way, what are all of us in Sacramento? What have we been dealing with the last few days that's cut into our lives? The weather, right? So do they have to deal with any of that kind of stuff? And I'm sure that they probably have people that help them. You get my point, right? So a day is just, it's not enough. You're right, Edward. But until the NBA changes that, the Clippers, I told you about them, 7-game road trip, just like the Kings, 7 games in 11 days, long road trip, 13.5 points. A lot of points. Not too late if you want to get that action. My man, MC in the house. What's up, brother? Thank you for being here. You know I appreciate you. Always giving us our thumbs up and reminding you to subscribe and like if you haven't already. And by the way, guys, if you don't already, please subscribe to Grant's YouTube channel. You can hit that QR code or take a picture of that. And subscribe, like some of our videos if you wouldn't mind, and check that out because that's where we do exclusive shows, exclusive rants, and yeah, we love it over there. I know some of you predominantly or watch on X a lot of the time, but check out YouTube sometime. It's a good watch. So we appreciate that if you would do that. And don't forget as well, come back at halftime. We'll be right here. Grant, Jerry, myself, we'll be saying, is 13.5 too much? We will see. Do you know if the Kings practiced yesterday? I do not believe they practiced yesterday, but I can't confirm that, Edward. I think that they were off. Maybe some film. Ryan, do you think Coach Brown will be quick to take timeouts? He's actually been a little bit more hesitant to call the quick timeout. Not like he was last year, sometimes earlier this year. What I'm looking for more is if you look at Mike Brown's rotation the last 7 games, it tightened up. You've got Davion Mitchell, right? He's getting more run, okay? You've got Trey Lyles, you've got Malik, you've got JaVale McGee. That's your core that has ran. I believe those are the 8 or 9 guys that were the only ones that got meaningful minutes. Well, Kessler Edwards, I'm not going to give you the stats because I don't know the exact stat and I don't want to give you a wrong stat. But basically, Mike Brown tightened that rotation up. So has that made a difference? Yes. It has. Now, can Davion Mitchell continue to play at this level? We'll see. So, Ben with a good look at Ben, dude. Ben, you are the pregame show's guardian angel tonight. Look at this. Be safe out there with the wind. Yes, indeed. Edward, do you think the Kings, or do you think De'Aaron doesn't attack the paint a lot because of his shoulder injury? If healthier, do you think that will change after the break? Great question, Edward. Well, we don't know if De'Aaron has a shoulder injury. We don't. We know that he tweaked it at one time. We know that he missed a game. We know that he was wearing the rock tape. Didn't like that. Got that taken off. But then it just kind of it stopped. We stopped hearing about it. So let's assume there's something going on with that shoulder. 100%. You're spot on, Edward. That's when he drives to the hoop. Think about how De'Aaron creates a lot of his separation if his defender is actually in front of him. A lot of times that defender's behind De'Aaron. But when that defender is in front of De'Aaron, he's able to put that right shoulder in and create and do that little fadeaway. And by default, use that right shoulder basically as a way to prevent his shot from being blocked. De'Aaron has not wanted to put that shoulder out in that position, which is why he's not getting, well, I can't say that's why he's not getting to the free throw line, but it could be a reason why he's not getting to the free throw line as much. So yes, absolutely. That affects everything. Good observation. Yes, absolutely. Now, Ed, so I talked about Mike Brown instead of the quick timeouts, watching or, tracking the quick rotations or tracking the tightness of the rotation, excuse me. Tonight, now that I'm kind of thinking about it a little bit more, maybe he's a little looser on the rotation because of the schedule that the Kings have had to deal with and dealt with very well. But maybe that is a little bit different. But yes, I do think Davion will get significant minute, as will some other guys as well. My man Lance, what is up? Who on the Kings bench would you like to see get more minutes? Alex Len, 100% Alex Len. Sasha Vezenkov, by the way, thank you, Lance, for bringing that up or asking that question because this is important. Sasha is available tonight. Just got that from James Ham not too long ago. So I wouldn't mind seeing Sasha get some run. But Alex Len, I just, to me, the JaVale McGee experiment, I don't think that's a fair word. The JaVale McGee second unit, it's not, to me, working. It's not, to me, it's lazy. And I'm not calling Mike Brown lazy. I'm just saying it's the easier of the two guys to play because JaVale can do he can do a little more on the athletic side than Alex Len can do. But the difference with Alex Len is a force at times down low, especially when he runs the floor. Think about Alex Len and the impact he had at times in the playoffs last year against Golden State. Think about how well he was playing up until he had the high ankle sprain. So I don't understand why you wouldn't want to take the advantage to your opponent. Don't be reactionary. And I feel like JaVale McGee is it's more of a prevent play. It's like a football team that goes into prevent defense. To me, JaVale's the catch-all kind of center five for that second unit. Alex Len, I really think, gives that second unit the element they need. I'm not the coach. There's a reason I'm not the coach. But that's the guy I want to see. Good question. Let's see. Mike Dizzle. And by the way, this is Kings Pregame Show on If You Don't Like That. I'm Ryan in Sacktown. Please give us a thumbs up if you haven't already. We're going to get ready to wrap up here in just a few minutes. But don't forget, right here at halftime, Jerry Reynolds and Grant will be back. And then Grant and I will wrap the night up. Kings and the Pistons. Mike, what seed do you have the Kings getting into the playoffs? Prediction. I think a 6. I think the Kings are going to be a 6 seed. And That's perfectly fine to me. I don't think they're cracking the top 4. I don't think anybody wants to see the Kings in a playoff situation or a play-in situation, just simply because of the bipolarness, the Jekyll and Hyde. It's a coin flip. You don't know which team would show up. So 6 is where I am going. Alex Len can do the same thing. So, yeah, Juan, if you're trying to go over the top, and it's a fair point, Juan, by the way, and thank you for chatting that in. But if you want to go over the top, Alex Len's not the guy. That's JaVale McGee, but that's like a 1 in every 10, 12 possession look or play that you may call. I know the Kings don't call a lot of plays. It's free-flowing offense, but it's not. I'm telling you, Alex Len can run that pick and roll just as well. I can promise you that. Now, is the chemistry as good? Maybe not. But Alex Len, it just it opens things up. Let's just put it that way. And I get this is a game of matchups. I don't want to question Mike Brown. He is the reigning coach of the year and the unanimous NBA coach of the year, first ever of all time. So he knows what he's doing, but I would like to know the answer to that. And I think it's a fair question. And if I ever had the opportunity, it is a question you could promise, or I would promise you would ask Mike Brown. So anyways, we're going to get to Edward. He's going to wrap the show up. Alex seems to be more fundamental and plays solid defense without making as many mistakes as JaVale. Yes, I agree. Good observation. And the other thing that Alex does as well is he can play more up and down. If you're JaVale McGee, you're banking 100% banking on the shot block, right? If you're Alex Len, you could still be up and down like JaVale McGee vertically, but you can still give him more bump. You can give him more from the body, right? And JaVale, unfortunately, he's not that guy, and that's fine. So that's why I like Alex. So anyways, guys, I appreciate it. Lance, Latzos, Juan, Edward, everybody, too many to name, MC, all you guys, you are the best. Don't forget, please come back at halftime. Jerry, Grant, myself will be right here. And we will hopefully be talking about a good Kings first half tonight and a Kings dub. Man, the Kings need this dub with this next stretch of basketball that's coming up. Denver 2 times in 5 games. And don't forget about Oklahoma City and Phoenix knocking on your door. So, all right, we will see you at halftime. Go Kings, light the beat.